your side. This is WNCT 9 News at Noon.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for being with us here on this Friday. Rob, we have been tracking Ian all this time, definitely feeling those effects so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Not everybody's getting tropical storm force winds, but that's not the main impact with this. And we have some storm surge along the Neuse River. The tide out there on the south-facing beaches are starting to run a bit high as well. And we have more heavy rain on the way. We're not done with it. These feeder bands are starting to pick up in intensity, and we'll show you that in just a second. But right now, look at Atlantic Beach, already running a foot or two above normal, and this is with northeast winds all day. Now they're coming in on shore, so the next high tide could be even higher than that. As far as Ian is concerned, still 85-mile-an-hour winds as of the latest update is now making landfall between Charleston and Myrtle Beach as we speak. But these feeder bands are starting to intensify, and there is a long one that's going to be training across the forecast area, in particular for Carteret County and those counties along the Pamlico Sound overnight. So here's the track of it. It's on the move, which is a bit of good news. Forward speed is up to 14 miles an hour, which could help things out in the long run as it moves inland and weakens. But now these feeder bands, there's been a number of marine advisories already with a number of water spouts, at least indicated by radar signature. And as this continues to train across the area, we can't rule out some tornado warnings in the mix as we head all the way into tonight. It was one band a few hours ago, a very healthy system. The eye wall, what was the eye wall, opened up and it started to close up again as it approached landfall. So we're going to have to, it's a good thing this thing is moving inland. It didn't have more time to strengthen. With wind speeds right now, or should I say the gusts are up to 35 miles an hour at New Bern, likely to get a little bit higher as we head into the evening hours. So we're still looking at heavy rain, wind gusts, coastal flooding, 1 to 4 feet of inundation, and isolated tornadoes. All are on the slate through this evening. Right now, it's over to Julianne.
Rob, thank you. And we take a live look this hour at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. You can see that camera there covered in rain. The winds, though, we know are rough there, and the waters are choppy right now as officials are declaring states of emergencies for the city and the entire state of South Carolina. And as we make our way up the coast, closer to home here, this is a live look at Frying Pan Tower just off our coastline. That camera there shaking in the wind, as you see. Ian also making for some huge swells out there on the waters this noon hour. And even closer to home now, here in the east, Atlantic Beach is preparing for what's to come throughout the afternoon. Waves are already high in some areas along the Crystal Coast, and that is where we find Not On Your Side's Claire Curry. She joins us live now. Claire, how is Ian affecting the shore from what you're seeing?
Yeah, Julianne, I'm here in Atlantic Beach near the Circle, and right now I'm under some shelter because it is sprinkling a little bit, and if I look out, some of the waves are looking pretty aggressive in the ocean behind me at the spot I'm at. Today I've been in touch with some officials in Carteret County, and they tell me they're already getting some calls about flooded roads in Morehead City and Beaufort. And as I was driving into the Circle, there were some spots of pooling water that I had to make some detours around. They also encourage everyone to not drive in any flooded roads for the time being. They also have received some reports of power outages throughout the town of Atlantic and along Highway 101. They say if there's any down power lines, to please call 911 and do not get close to them. But if it's just a power outage, you can go ahead and call your electric company and they'll get that taken care of. You can stay tuned with WNCT online and on air for any updates on the changing weather conditions. Live in Atlantic Beach, Claire Curry, 9 on your side.
All right, Claire, thank you. And as we take a live look at Jacksonville today, we continue to monitor coastal areas in Onslow County and how they might be impacted. Now on your sides, Cheyenne Pagan is joining us live now from Jacksonville. She has the latest on what it's looking like down there. Cheyenne.
Good afternoon, Julianne. It is raining. It's been raining on and off all morning long since I've been here working at 6 a.m. I spoke with Onslow County officials about an hour ago, and they told me they've seen some power outages throughout the county on and off all morning, and they've also seen some overwash in the North Topsail and Sneads Ferry area. We do know that Onslow County and the city of Jacksonville are actually under a state of emergency right now. They're doing this in preparation for Ian, and we do know that earlier this week when we spoke with them that they are staying prepared no matter what, and they're also urging residents to stay prepared as well. And they told us they are prepared for whatever Ian will bring to the area. Stay with us on air and on our website as we continue to monitor Ian and bring you updates. Live in Jacksonville, Cheyenne Pagan 9 on your side.
Cheyenne, thanks for keeping us updated. And we go a couple counties north now as we look live here at New Bern. The eastern North Carolina town on the Neuse River is prone to flooding, and that's why we have our Emily Severich out there live right now to continue our team coverage. Emily, how are things looking where you are now?
Yeah, Julianne, we've been out here since about 11 this morning now. The rain has certainly died down, but just as Rob was saying about those wind gusts here in New Bern, we are certainly feeling them. We are getting a lot of sideways gust of wind coming off of the water. And when that rain was coming down really hard earlier when we first got here, it was really big, heavy drops of rain just pelting at you. I am going to step out of the way to let our photographer Tony zoom in a little bit so you can see Union Point Park. We actually tried to set up there originally when we first got here, but Union Point Park is completely blocked off actually by police officers right now because of the amount of flooding in that area. So we actually had to make a detour. We're actually out here at Persimmon's Waterfront Restaurant. I'm going to step back into camera for a second, but you could probably see a lot of the swells of those waves on the water. We've seen a lot of driftwood being washed up and a lot of people making some risky decisions, wading through some water. So like we're going to continue to say throughout today, make sure you're not driving through standing water. Just make some smart choices. Be safe when you're out there today if you do have to travel. We'll be back at 5 and 6 here in New Bern. Continue to stay with us here at WNCT for all updates when it comes to Ian. I'll throw it back to you, Julianne. Thanks so much.
Emily, thank you. And Ian is impacting South Carolina too. They are expecting hurricane force winds and heavy rain. The storm is not packing the punch that it had in Florida, but is still a threat to lives and property.
I think we're going to see a lot of wind. We'll probably see a lot of rain.
The southeast coast of South Carolina is known as low country, filled with salt marshes, waterways, and beaches, areas already prone to flooding. Storm surge there could be particularly devastating. We'll have the latest from the Palmetto State coming up this evening on your news at 6. And we are hearing incredible stories of survival from people in the Fort Myers area as Ian crashed into Florida's west coast. People held on to anything they could to survive. Others using mattresses and coolers as flotation devices to get family members to safety. Some considered tying themselves together so they wouldn't be washed away.
A number of feeder bands have formed with Ian. They are currently working their way on shore, and that will continue into the evening. We're going to continue with heavy rain and a potential tornado threat as well. We'll have the full forecast after the break.